I'm spoken for. The river may dry up, and the river may rise some more. Take my foresight, makes me worry. It's not for the planning, it's just where I'm standing. Stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart. Villages foreign, children on the beds. Wave me in, but I yell that I can't even swim. Stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart. And the speed of it knocks me down. It's water rushing round. Beyond me comes the sound of a crashing waterfall. The cooling water pulling me under, like a lover's hands round my ankles in summer. And when this day's over and a new day has begun, a light will come meet me, keep me shining like the sun. Stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart, stretching the cords of my heart. And the speed of it knocks me down. It's water rushing round. Beyond me comes the sound of crashing waterfall.
The views expressed in the following show are of the host, the guest, and the callers. The content of the following show, its accuracy, authenticity, and the ramifications of the use or application of said content is the responsibility of those speaking and listening, not the broadcast medium.
All right, we're back on our live Feet to the Fire. I'm your host, James Athianchik, the Black Knight of Talk Radio Live. Here we are in the no green screen setup. I was busy redoing some wiring, and I changed the tube in my $1 zillion tube preamp compressor, etc., and it works. So there we go. And did some other wiring, so I'm quite happy with that. and I thought I would go with a little more of the real deal here. This is what it looks like without the green cloth hanging behind me. All right, we're back and we're live. I was talking with Jim Jaffray. He's been on the show many times. He's a great guy. He's a foreign policy expert, and he's very familiar with the Mideast. We've had him on for Syria and Saudi Arabia and whatnot. But he, unfortunately, his wife had passed away, and he is not doing things yet. So blessings go on, prayers go out to him during his time of... hold on 1 second here. I'm going to turn off this air conditioning. All right, it's kind of bothering me in the background. Where am I now? There we go. So he, I mean, it was probably too early for him to be on. I kind of caught him later, but, so we'll have him on there, when he's, better. He's a good guy to go to because he's so, straight up. I mean, he's very knowledgeable, hands-on, been on the ground there. His heritage is from Eastern European. He is a, what is the word? Oh gosh, no, I can't. I'm seeing the cathedrals. Well, Eastern Christian. What I forgot. Byzantine? Orthodox. That's it. Orthodox Christian. And also deals with that stuff too. So he's a good guy, and I wish him the best. But I thought we would do a kind of a various stuff. There's some news items out. I got some things I've written down. We're in the chat room, which is over here. So if you have questions in there you'd like me to address, just put them in caps. Also, we have the Spreaker up and running. If you want to go into that chat room, I can get stuff. Oh, it's crooked. That's where the air conditioner is back there. I built this thing to keep the sound down. It does keep the sound down, but not good enough. And it's pretty cool in here anyway. So last week we did a show with Rob Davin, and it was on internet security, the expectations, privacy and security. And it actually was got a lot more comments than normal, and actually no bad ones. So that worked out good. And, talk with Rob, and we're going to be doing shows, now and again, because we have a good time talking together. It's good. It's a good conversation. He knows a lot of stuff and what I know, and then we kind of deal them in together and come out with a combo. We both learn, we both share. So that's going to happen. Let me go to the. I don't like Facebook, and I know it's spies and whatnot. I have the browser set for as much privacy as possible as things could go. But a lot of people are hooked up to it, both with the show and I personally know, and I'm on Minds, but I'm not getting the. There's people who are following me there, but I'm not getting the feedback on it. I still put the shows up there. Gab I use a lot. If you're on Gab, look for me. It's F2F is the name on Gab. James Arthur Jancic, one word, is the name on Minds. But I use Facebook as kind of I find the stuff on Twitter. I'm on Twitter too, Jajancik. I find all this stuff and I kind of correlate it on, and so far I have not been banned. Or I presume shadowed or shadow banned or whatever. But in this way I keep it together. So I'm in no way endorsing Facebook. But I am on there at james.a.jancic. Probably just put my name and you'll find me. And if you want to follow along that way throughout the week and send me information too, email is going to be james@feettothefireradio.com. And if you need a private secure email, I have jjancik@proto gmail.com. So those are ways to get a hold of me. In fact, if you'd like to do that now with questions or comments or links or something, let me, do that, do so. The chat room is on YouTube and Spreaker. So there we go. Let's go to the webcam page. Alrighty. This would be the, of course, there's, the latest breaking news, the No Green Screen Show. Anyway, that's what this whole place looks like. We got the records on the other side. The books you can't see them. They're, if you were to have a 360, it's on the other side. So anyway. Well, this is not breaking news. This is nothing. This is, I have one autographed sports picture. One in my entire life. Well, I actually had it one by Ron Santo, a Chicago Cub from way back in the 70s, but probably 60s, 70s. But I can't find that. It's long gone. But Bobby Douglas, the number 10 on the Bears. For those who know about all this stuff, Bears were really bad back then. What do you mean back then, as they're saying? I said, well, they were really bad back then. But he broke the record for most rushing from a quarterback, probably because of broken plays, but nonetheless, I like the guy. He throws that ball so hard and so far that there's actually been times when he's thrown the ball over the middle and hit the receiver and bounced it off of him. Well, I guess that's partly his fault, but hey, he should have caught it. It's their job. Your job is to catch. He got it there, Also, I know a guy who played semi-pro tournaments, semi-pro softball tournaments, and his team was in one of them, and he was playing center field, and he threw a guy out at the plate from center field, all the way on the wall. Anyway, Bobby Douglas. Let me go to important stuff. I'm not, I'm not a political guy. I don't talk politics in and of itself. In fact, I have 16 plus years of shows available online. And you'll see, I went for decade plus, really up until, I'm going to say probably 2012 with Ron Paul. I was interested in him. And then I kind of duck out there. I didn't care about the next one. I mean, we joked around with my co-host in the other show I used to do. We looked at Obama and Romney as Obamney. That's what we called it. So it didn't matter who won, I guess. I don't know if they would have had Spygate if Romney won, but anyway. This whole Trump thing that started when he won I wasn't even paying attention in 2016. When he won the nomination, that's when I paid attention. And if you look back in the archives, you'll see I did shows when I did my own personal research. Because when I got into it, I don't listen to anybody. I can watch Fox or CNN or read Times or whatever, and I can read the stuff. And I'm not, I'm not going to listen to what they say as if they're a trainer. I'm going to listen to what they say, and I'll keep it and eventually come up with what I think is going on, and that's fluid as I get more information. So I can listen to anybody. I can listen to everything from, neo-Nazis to black supremacists. I don't know what you would call them on the other end, or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I can listen to any of them. It doesn't matter. I read Mein Kampf. It doesn't mean I started doing goose stuff. And, that's my thing is you need information in order to make a statement. So you need to check everything. So if you're a left or a right-wing person, you got to check the other side, because that great quote from Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. You have to examine yourself. And if you like something or want something or think something, that's not good enough. You have to find out, why do you want to like it? I mean, is it based in reality? Is it based on truth? And you have to adjust according to that. And that is what I have done. I've done it all my life. I did a lot of it in Bible research, and it's one of these things that I talk about, but it doesn't seem to be people aren't too interested in it. So I'm interested in it myself, and I don't know if I should just start doing it. I pop it out here and there as it comes out, but I wrote a statement here, and I'm watching this election. Now, I'm watching it from I'm not a left or right. I mean, if you interviewed me, you'd probably say I was conservative in my approach on things. And I don't even know what that means anymore. What does conservative mean anymore? It doesn't even mean what it used to mean. So you would, if I was going to be labeled left or right, people would throw me on the right, I guess. But it's only because the stuff I'm looking at, not the individuals. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Republican people. I mean, I think that they don't. A lot of them don't support Trump. They're supporting Trump now because they know they got a winner now, or he's been around. He couldn't get rid of him. Anyway, excuse me. My point is that when I say stuff, I'm not a right-wing guy. All right. If I could sit down and talk about my philosophies and how things should be run, and people would call me everything from right to left to commie to reactionary. I mean, it depends. But it has reasons, it's logical, and has things to work out on it. Anyway, but looking at this election, I can't believe how crazy the left is. I mean, they are talking about spending, and this is not the Republican blown up number. Don't write it off for that. These are people who are looking at these things to figure out the cost. Trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And I understand the budget for war, I call it defense, but war is very high, and I am not thrilled with that. I'm looking at it as Trump needs to have some allies, and history shows who the military supports stays in power. So perhaps he's biting the bullet a little bit on the military for support. I don't know. I can't read it. He's not calling me, and I can't read minds. So, but I can't believe how crazy they are. We're talking about having abortion post-birth. That was unfathomable 10 years ago. You would lose your job in whatever business. You would be thrown out of office. You'd be tossed off TV. You'd thrown off the newspaper. If it's ridiculous. And so I wrote on this. I said, I don't know. If I didn't know better, and perhaps I don't, it would appear that the whole goal of the Democrat Party is to reelect Trump, because it's like the people who don't like Trump for whatever reason, personal or otherwise, are going to either not vote or vote for Trump based on the other people. People say they voted for Trump is really, back in 2016, was vote against Hillary. Okay? Well, it's worse. These people are crazy with the stuff they're talking about. It's economically infeasible. It's scientifically infeasible. I don't know how many stories and articles and research has to come out to show the flaws in all the climate stuff. Climate may change, and it does throughout the years, but it's not because of CO2. I can go on that another time, but all right, back to what I said, is to reelect Trump in 2020 by offering an option so outlandish and problematic. And I'm talking positions, not personality. I'm not even talking personalities. I don't like any of them. Well, I Tulsi Gabbard, and I can get to that, but there seems to be, people have two choices. One, vote for Trump, or two, don't vote at all. They also have unintentionally or not, supposed to be not, unintentionally or no, I guess that works too. They exposed a large number of America's ignorant and or mentally ill or emotionally ill or how would you say it? Like emotionally, I guess the word retarded is bad, but they're continual adolescents. That's what the media, the corporations like, is adolescents buy a lot of stuff. They're easily swayed. They got fads. They go from here to there to here to there. I mean, you just look at like outfits and so they want humans to stay in adolescence, perpetual adolescence forever, so they can sell them stuff, manipulate them, move them. That's what the goal is. That's what the goal of school is. Let's not teach anybody. Let's not give them tools. Let's not tell them truths and how they'll live in the world. Let's just keep them young and dumb, forever. Not liking or even hating Trump is not a good reason to support the Democratic candidate, no matter who it is. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, as I mentioned, she's rational. She's got. I don't agree with some of the stuff. I mean, she's still into a lot of the socialist stuff. I don't know what the words, I don't want to use the catchphrases, nanny state and all that stuff, but at least she's against war, all wars, like the Ron Paul type of thing. But she can talk to you logically. You can ask her questions. She can respond to them. She's not used, it's not the name calling. It's not the hyperbole. I mean, they talk about Trump being hyperbole. These guys are hyperbolic, sonic, supersonic, I don't know, machines. All right, let me look over here. Yeah, I got aces over kings. He's the guy that kicks butt in the chat room if I need it. Oh, I didn't change the... I didn't change the link for the website. My bad. Gosh. Well, I'll have to do that. I don't know if I could... doing it now is going to be a little bit problematic while I'm doing the show, so... I could always play a song or something while I go do it, but I'd rather not. Maybe I should... Well, I'm done with that particular topic, that particular message. So maybe I can try and do this as I talk. Let me go back to the big screen here while I can... Darn it. Why does that aggravate me? I can't show this stuff on here, but maybe just give me a second here. Law. This is the problem with doing live shows. It's a lot easier when you could when you do it, what do you call it? All right, let me, all right. It's actually not that bad to change it, widgets. I just have to get the link. So let me see if I can just do it this way. It'll just give me a second. I can apologize for this. I should stop apologizing. This is the problem. Oh, there we go. I'm talking to myself there. Talk about a loop. All right. Share, copy, close, widgets. Thanks for bringing that up in the chat room, by the way. That's actually not too bad. I'm almost done. Paste. Save. Bam. It's fixed. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up there. All right. Who was that? Who said that? Ray. All right. Thanks, Ray, for bringing that up. It's all fixed now. Let me just try it. There we go. Paste. There's the proof. There I am. Save. Bam. It's fixed. Thank you. Thank you for... All right. So we're done. Let's get back to business here. All right. Yeah. Now I find some funny things and I pass them on. I mean, it's not earth-shattering. There's a graphic I saw here to those yammering for gun confiscation. Go get the guns from the criminals, as a test run. I know I've been doing some studying on the law, and it's pretty amazing how easy it is for someone who is a law-abiding citizen to, in Illinois anyway. I've been reading it. Apparently, Illinois is an extremely tough gun place. In fact, they honor nobody else's gun permits. Period. And you have to get everything done here in Illinois, and there's a background check on there's a background check on everybody. They're talking about universal background checks. I already got it here in Illinois. And there is if you don't have to register your gun specifically, but if you do have it or sell it, I mean, if it is through sales is traced to you, you have to keep records for 10 years if you sell them. I mean, you can't go into if you have a concealed carry permit, you can't. If you pull into a rest spot on the highway in Illinois and you get out of the car, you have to leave the gun in a locked box, which is defined as your glove compartment or a particular box for it. You can't bring it out in there. You can't go in. If somebody in a place puts up a no guns allowed on their property, you cannot bring a gun in there. It's a private property, and they can decide what it is. It's not, I mean, it's on and on. It's like I'm reading all the laws. It's like, holy cow! And then you got something like Arizona, where there's no permits, there's no registration, there's nothing. You can open carry, unless specifically. I can't go to court with it, like that. I can't imagine walking around with a gun on the outside. I can't imagine it in Illinois. Holy cow! And we've been like this for so long. In fact, for a long time, Chicago, no handguns. Period. Can't own them. Can't have them in your house. Nothing. And that was overturned by the Supreme Court. And then, of course, they put like $1,000 permit or something on it, and that was overturned by the Supreme Court as being. So Illinois, not a friendly place to be. Where's my webpage? There we go. I also say, I've been watching, as I've been working on a computer, I got TV in the background. At night when I come home from work, I usually go through Tucker, and I can't stomach Hannity, though I like the guests. I can't stomach Hannity. I usually cycle into Friends in the background while I'm working. And I'm hearing these commercials over and over again about these new cancer treatments. And I'm thinking, I don't know anybody, all the people I've known to have cancer over the years, including up until, recently, it's all the same stuff. It's radiation and or chemotherapy. That's it. There's no special fancy this, that, and the other thing. So I don't know if insurance doesn't cover it, if it's more publicity, I don't know. Not that I want to get a bunch of letters of people who got cancer. I mean, that's great. I'd love to see so many people got through it. I mean, Lucinda had cancer. She got through it, and it was chemotherapy. Lucinda, I mentioned this without mentioning her name in writing. Lucinda, when she was pregnant with her last child, or maybe it was her first child. It was her first child. I don't remember which one, no. It was before. It wasn't mine. It was before I knew her. Well before. She had developed cancer. I think it was ovarian or something like that. In the plumbing, in the female plumbing. And they gave her, I said, well, you're going to have to start treatment and it'll kill the child, so you should abort. And she wouldn't do it. And she said, then so be it. I die, we both die, or we both live. Whatever. And both lived. She took treatment afterwards, was successful. Her daughter's alive. So, I mean, I got some nasty comments on Twitter about that because it's like, well, take your anecdotes and all your little stories and, stick them. But, that's the way it is. I was watching Tucker. I like Tucker Carlson. That's on Fox, I know, and Fox, but believe me, I'm not a fan of any of this stuff, right? Left and right and all this stuff, but Tucker seems to be the best you can get on a mainstream. And he's pretty good most of the time. So I was watching him, and was it him? No, this might have been. I think it was. I don't remember who it was. And I'm saying this. I'm setting up Tucker, and it might not have been Tucker's show. But they were talking about. This is Jerome Hudson. He's got a book called 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know About. And the quote that got me was staggering. 97.6% of mass shootings since 1950 have occurred in gun-free zones. 1950. 97.8%. And there's a bunch of other lists. I actually listed a list of them here. Black and Hispanic students are more underrepresented in America's top colleges and universities than before affirmative action. Hispanics constitute over half of the Border Patrol agents. The U.S. settled more refugees in 2008 than any other nation. People are clamoring over here at the UN and all that. Let them in, any other nation. Half the federal arrests are immigrated-related. Amazon paid zero taxes on a $11.2 billion profit in 2018. Taxpayers doled out $2.6 billion in food stamps to dead people in less than 2 years. And you want them to run the healthcare? Oh, Lord have mercy. World leaders flew to Davos to discuss global warming in a fleet of 1,700 private jets. Well, they don't think that's, there's no hypocrisy? Contradiction, hypocrisy? I don't know. Because they're different. They're the elite. There's a few of them. They go like, well, okay, 1,700 jets, but there's 1 million people in the air flying every day. So they go, well, we can use it's important stuff that we're doing. We can do it. We can have the bodyguards with all the gazillion weapons. We can have the special deals. That's okay because we're the elite and we're trying to rescue the world from you numbskulls. Of course, I'll get to a quote in a little bit, which is quite awesome to tell you the real truth on this. There's the link. Gotta find, where's that quote now? Yes. I was watching another show now. I can't remember because it was on TV. It's right, because it was on TV. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was Tucker. The guy was talking about quoting, and the quote was from H.L. Mencken, which I looked up, and he was a news reporter. I think he died in the 70s, maybe 60s, 70s maybe. Anyway, like a news reporter, columnist, author, that kind of guy. Quote is, the urge to save humanity is almost always a false front for the urge to rule. What an amen comment to that. That's exactly what it is. That's the reason behind climate change and white supremacists and all this other stuff. Absolutely. Let me go back over here. There's a video. I'll put the links on there. It's Headlines with a Voice. I'd recommend that YouTube channel. I mean, everything I recommend is not 100%. These guys are absolutely right. Listen to what they say. It's like, I hear good stuff from it. I ignore bad stuff. Okay, so she's pretty good. And it's talking about the Heresy of Dissent. It's a very nice little piece. This is important. I'm going to say it's true. I just saw a couple other articles on it, and Rob Davin, the guy we had in last week, he just put another article up about it. So he's really into computer stuff. It's been his bread and butter in his life in networking. Google's quantum supremacy to render all cryptocurrency and military secrets breakable. Now, looking on the article, I didn't actually save the article that Rob put up, but reading on it, it said that they did a computation test with this Google's quantum computer. And if they use cloud computing, which is the fastest, let's say, normal kind of computing they have now, it would have taken, I think it was 30 trillion hours to get the results they got in 30 minutes. Now, I hate to use this phrase, but let that sink in. So the reason why cryptocurrency and military secrets are breakable is that what they can do with that kind of processing power is they can try every combination. Well, the combinations are in the quadrillions. Yeah, I know. That's why they're virtually breakable, because they're in the quadrillions, unless you happen to get lucky and your odds are like winning the lottery every day for years would be hard. It would be easier to do. So the point is that now they can simply take whatever you have encrypted. Of course, it's expensive to do this. This is, cutting edge, top edge, multi-million dollar computers. So you're going to have to be pretty special to be stuck to have computer time dedicated on this. But and this is just the beginning. So when they start to replicate these things, and there's going to be cloud quantum computing, so all these things are rendered. And of course, for those familiar with James McKinney's work, he's been on the show. I'll see if I can find a link and I'll put it up there. He put together a equation to find prime numbers, which are the variables they use, because you can't calculate them, so therefore they use prime numbers as the basis for encryption. But now you can calculate primes, and with one of these quantum computers, with the calculations, you could just say, go, and boom, which means all this stuff is moot, which is very significant, which means basically, with our talk last week about the internet and whatnot, you're basically at the top of the chain. You're at their mercy as far as security and whatnot. You have to be like, living in a cabin in the woods with no electronics if you want to be out of their touch. And then, of course, I guess if you could do it, if you did have a network, if you had a network, you can do it out there, but then you can't hook in. Let me look down here. Yeah. Ray is saying it didn't work. You just saw me do it live on the air. So your browser is probably retaining the old link. And so you'll have to flush your cache to allow that link to change in your end, because I just did it live on the air. So the link is working. So those are pretty sobering things. It's like when you put a lock on your door or something, you're basically, it's the level of expertise, investment, and determination. As you go up that level, it's harder to stop it. So if somebody comes, you got locks in your doors, somebody comes by with a bulldozer and rips the front of your house off, they're in. But who's going to do that, and for what reason? It has to be pretty darn important. And because they're going to, when they do that, they're going to have, police and whatever after them for doing that. But once they can do these I still say that computers will never become conscious, because all they are looking at all possibilities and lining up the probabilities to pick one that works. And maybe with these computers, they can do it so good that when they keep track of everything you've ever done, via, Facebook and whatever, your phone, the smart TVs, whatever. When you go into a ice cream stand or store, they can predict what you're going to buy. But the human mind can always buy something they never bought before. So if I go to an ice cream stand and they go like, "Why Google? What am I going to buy?" And I say, "Well, you usually get this, you usually get that. Well, in terms of ranking, most likely this one, then that one, this one." I could turn around without knowing what they're going to say. That'd be cheating, but I can pick something I've never bought before, and they can't predict that. This is the superiority of human being and consciousness. But it takes a conscious awareness to be able to do these things. So anyway, let me move on to this. Not for me, right? I've dumped our 1-800 number because it's worthless. The only calls I seem to get were trolling. So nowadays, it used to be big before, but nowadays the chat rooms and they're talking in the chat room about Trump. Right. Well, that's going to go away soon because somebody in the house will answer it. I can't know how to do the ringer out here. Gosh. I'll have to figure that out for next time. Now, there's an interesting law here, if this works out. Ted Budd introduced a bill that would allow victims of crimes by illegal immigrants to sue sanctuary cities. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you knowingly harbor fugitives and they attack the neighbor, you are liable in that. You can be sued as an accomplice. If you know that there is, an ex-murderer living in your house, and they go out and kill your neighbor, you are liable in this. They have, of course, proved that you knew. But if this person has been released from a sanctuary city and then he does harm, you can sue. I mean, that's just, I don't think you need a bill for that. That should be obvious. But in this world of like, look, this is a coup. All right. Everybody's going, oh, really? I didn't know that. But when you look at the left, the extreme left, all right, and they're doing these things, And you say, well, that's not fair. That's not true. They don't treat these people that way. You can't look at it like that. I know it's good you do it. It's good you're looking at it like that because that's how you should look for contradictions and unfairness and whatever. But they know that. They're doing it purposely. It's like someone who walks up and shoots you or shoots your friend or steals a purse. That's not fair, is it? I didn't know I couldn't steal your purse. I'm sorry. I didn't know. If I would have known, or, well, you're a bad person. You have a bad, you're a racist. You're white supremacist, white privilege, so I could steal your purse. See, they know it's wrong. They're just looking on ways to try and put up a smokescreen for people who are decent people who know right and wrong. Well, no, wait a minute. It's not fair. I didn't do it. No, it's not you. It's them. It's a complete and absolute plan. And I never really thought this in the past, but now it's so obvious to me watching all the stuff that they're saying. They're coming up now with Trump is supposedly talked with some officials in Ukraine and tried to get him to look into Biden, which is nothing wrong with that, right? No pressure involved, but Biden put pressure and threatened to withhold billions of U.S. dollars in order to get a DA fired in Ukraine who happened to be investigating his son's company. That's okay, right? It's not fair. Well, of course it's not fair. They are thugs, lying thugs, hoods. They are Bolsheviks. They are they're the neo-Maoists in America. It is the USSR American style. That's what it is. They're thugs. Trump isn't a thug. Trump is give me somebody like that any day of the week over these lying thugs. And again, he's not batting 100 with me, but we'd be batting minus if it was the other way. So when people start saying, and I hear this on the news, now I think they're doing it on purpose when like a Fox, Tucker or Laura Ingraham or somebody will argue and say, well, wait, that's not fair. They did this, that. They're probably doing it as an instruction to show the listeners that they're not being fair. But if I was going to talk to President Trump and I had one thing to say, I mean, I have a bunch of things I like to talk about. If I had one thing to say, I would say, I don't know, do you realize you're dealing with people who are psychopathic, who are narcissistic, who are power hungry, who would kill you in a millisecond if it served their goals and they can get away with it, who would kill their own. They're disgusting. This is the force behind it. Now, individuals may vary in what they are. And like I said, Tulsi Gabbard's running for president, and she's got some good stuff. But I'm talking about the thugs at the center of this stuff. This is what it's about. Now, there's thugs everywhere. There's thugs in all parties. That's why you can't go by parties. You have to go by individuals, look at the data, look at the lack of contradiction, look at the evidence, and whatever it is, hit them. Hit them with the law, hit them with charges, hit them, you have to do that because you can't say, oh, they're black, they're okay. They're white, they're bad. They're white, they're okay. They're black, they're bad. Republicans, okay. Republicans, bad. Democrat, you can't do that. You have to look at the evidence, the individuals, and when you find stuff like this, you have to hit them hard with the law. That's why I don't know what's going on. Comey and these guys should have been charged already. There's a lot of worry about Barr because, for example, he's the guy that supported the FBI's who, basically assassinated Weaver's wife and kids. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. And now that they let Comey off on these other charges, and then we're getting the preachers are on Fox who go, no, they're going to do it. No, they're waiting for a bigger one. I don't know. I am not, I'm not a Q-Bert guy, so I don't have the faith. And I'm seeing forward action that's going, yes, well, I want to see the indictment and the arrest. Now we're talking reality. Right now, this is all in this nebulous cloud of possibilities. Yeah, there's some evidence. Yeah, they may do it. Oh, they're going to do this. It's like when it comes down on paper to bam, now we're entering reality. in the idea of quantum matrix, there is an infinite possibility, a wave possibilities, but once it goes through and hits the film, that test where they go through the slits, it takes the infinite waveform and knocks it into particles. And as we go forward and make choices, we narrow down those particles and becomes real. It hits the reality. Svengoolie. Mencken. There's a YouTube channel. It didn't show up on here talking about the possibility of a hurricane hitting California for the first time in history, recorded history. So what's the first thing I thought of? Think about it. I would take a second and go, there might be hurricane might hit California for the first time in history. What's the first thing you think of? Now, normally you think of, well, maybe what if people aren't prepared for it and all that, which would be the normal, natural thing to think about. Not me. What I think of is like, oh, great. Now I can hear the global warming crowd, the climate change cloud. I mean, this is how I'm screwed up, so to speak, from dealing with this crap. When I hear this stuff, I immediately think of not even the actual event itself. Of course, nothing I can do about it. But this is the problems that we're living under, is that all you need is something to fit the narrative, and it gets blown. Oh, this whole Trump thing with Syria. I can't believe he talked. And then I just read an article saying that, well, actually, the whistleblower didn't actually hear him say it. So he didn't hear you say it. You're not saying your name. You're saying there's not one particular incident. I mean, come on. Can you get more ambiguous? And then the news just goes nuts for 48 hours. So I can't listen. My brother listens to this stuff, and he calls me up and says, yeah, you know what they're saying now? And he can listen to it and not go crazy. He doesn't believe it. He knows it's crap, but he can listen to it and go like, oh, wow, now what they're saying. I can't listen to it. I can't deal with it. It's like I can't take BS. Here is BS coming at me. This is lies, BS. It's like sitting in a heat lamp. I can't take that energy. Even though I know it's lying, I know what their plan is. It's propaganda. They're trying. I understand that. I got that. Intellectually, I got it. I don't know if it's emotionally or energetically. I don't know what the word is. It comes in. I can't. It's like when I see pictures, and God bless somebody. I'm going to get to the website. They talk about what's going on with the abortions and what they've done with children. It's I can't. It's like I end up tearing up when I read this stuff. It's absolutely terrible. And God bless these people who can do this, but I could never do that. I'd have a breakdown or something if I had to keep seeing all this stuff all the time. Anyway, I came across this. I thought this was excellent. It's a Bible where you can put your pistol in. I'm thinking, here's a Bible for a great idea for those pesky church shootings. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. I don't know, but you know what? It's I showed this to Linda, and she's like, it's just sad. You got to do this guy. Hey, back in the day, back in the Wild West, people were sitting around with guns because at any moment, they had one sheriff. Who was the police force? Us. You had the sheriff who organized the stuff, and the people, listened to his leadership, whatever, and they organized and they went out. We're going back in those days now. So, in fact, I was in talking to there's a gun shop in Minooka, Illinois, for those who are in the area. It's called MMI. It's a little difficult to find. It's actually on an alley. Is there open doors on an alley? It's right next to a bank. So if you're looking at the bank, you're there in Minooka. And I was talking to him, asking him questions on it, and I talked to him about possibly doing a show where we can go through all the laws and stuff. Plus, he's an independent gun shop. All the crap going on in Illinois. Illinois is brutal on this stuff. But it's getting back to where you got to do what you got to do for your own. So this whistleblower, I don't have the latest story up. These people are salivating to find something they can go after Trump with, even if they have to make stuff up. But now they have him, huh? No single communication was in the root of the complaint. Another person familiar with it said. I'm tired of the familiar people. I'm tired of, you want to see the data. Come out, make a stand. Here's what I heard. Be a whistleblower. Make it official. But they don't because it isn't there. And I just told you about the other argument, the other thing that said that Trump, they never said it. Never had any problems. They had the people in Ukraine are talking. No, it was fine. They didn't talk about nothing. And then they said, well, the whistleblower didn't actually hear anything anyway. So you know what it is? The guy's sitting there going, either a guy sitting there or a gal sitting there going, I just know he's doing this. I just know he is whistleblower. Or what can we come up with to try and nail him? I will try this. Either one, right? Except the reality aspect of it. All right, I do have a couple of notes here before I forget. Oh, I got mail. How's this, huh? I guess Limbaugh does this. I went to my mailbox and I got mail from a listener. Dear James, I occasionally listen to your show several years ago, and I listened to one recently. Perhaps you have heard this before. However, I was inspired to share this quote with you. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. It's a quote from It's a quote from the text of A Course in Miracles, piece from Tom from Edmonds, Washington. I've not read the Course in Miracles, but in looking at the quote, and I appreciate, by the way, the time you wrote a letter and nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. I understand the point. How I would phrase this from my theology is that all things work for the good for those who love God and those who kind of are in that corridor that God would have for them. So that's the reality of it. All right, so doesn't mean that, I'm going to say this, not being a theologian nor a preacher, nor do I have to answer to anybody except God. You don't have to be a religious person or whatever. If you're walking in that corridor of what God would have laid out for you, which you can find internally, and work with that, all things tend to work for good. And when problems happen, they either happen for education, they're happening for you to help or learn in either case. So, but I appreciate the letter. And I have never looked into it, of course. When I've dealt with it in the past, there was a big religious brouhaha about it. And, I just haven't looked into it. I also wrote a statement, a pro-life public service reminder, bombs kill children too. So President, GOP leader, Senate Majority, and Nancy Pelosi, you better have a damn good reason to bomb and kill children. And I hashtagged Iran and Yemen. This whole thing coming up with Iran, it's like, no, don't do it. Oh my God, don't do it. And in fact, of all things, Iraq, like as if Iraq is like this bastion of goodwill, as they are back in the old times too. And this is the website, lifenews.com. I don't know what to do with this. Maybe you guys can help me, right? Because when I see this stuff on the web, I get like a spear through my heart. Right? And there's nothing I can. Now, wait. In fact, one of the things I want to talk about was what we can do asking about what we can do about it. But a baby born alive at 23 weeks was gasping for air. Abortion clinic put the baby in a bag and threw her into trash. I can't even read it without tearing up. It's like a baby or a kid is killed by a stray bullet somewhere.
I just don't know what to say. What kind of person would do that? And of course, the answer is, well, they look at it as if it's not born yet, it's not a real person yet. And they got that. Well, first of all, a lot of them are probably psychopathic, to some degree, functional psychopaths. But I just don't, I don't know, I'm stuttering, right? What am I going to say? What do I say? What do I do about this? What do I say about this, for crying out loud? And then you get yelled at. If you don't have a womb or a vagina, you can't talk about it. Well, that's okay? That's okay, huh? And I wrote down a fantaside. Molech would be proud of the progress, quote unquote, to return to the good old days of out-and-out child sacrifice. Do as thou wilt. That is the bottom line. All right, so anybody out there with their little do as thou wilt and they're, playing their little fun games, this is do as thou wilt. I don't want this child. Kill it. And now, thanks to New York and other places, oops, the child was born alive during abortion, which is ridiculous, right? How is that possible? Well, you know why it's possible? Because they want it born alive so they could kill it alive. There's just these people are not knuckleheads. They're evil. There's another one I had on here where they showed a baby just born and they held it up to the camera. Just born, still got the clip on the umbilical cord, just cut the cord, got the clip on it, held the baby up for the camera, and they went like, and the caption was, in New York, we can kill this child now. And I understand you're taking the law and you're pushing it to its extremes, but it's still, if that was during an abortion and that child came out alive, you can kill it. I don't know what to say. Tommy Robinson is out. He got out of prison. They let him out, because the sentence he had was, between this and that, and they let him out somewhere in the middle, and they just let him out, boom. And so he, so all of a sudden, all the same stuff's happened to him. He's getting calls, death threats. So he called the police many times throughout the day, told where the guy was who wrote the stuff and all these things. Police never did anything about it. He goes down there, does a live stream. It's the links here. Of course, you got to sign like, permission to go read it. It's all this stuff because it's so evil, And he stands up there with his phone, and finally, it takes hours, and finally the police come and arrest the guy because he publicly posted threats. I mean, it was, I'm going to kill the first English person I saw. Of course, yes, he was a Muslim. And so this is just ridiculous how this is tolerated. I don't know how this is going. I don't get it. I'm sorry you're turning into the show for me to go and like, oh, here's the full-term baby. God almighty. I don't know. I don't know why an asteroid doesn't hit this planet. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of nice people on this planet, a lot of good people, a lot of innocent people. But when I see this stuff, that's a full-term baby, and now you can murder them. And if you look at the whole picture in New York, what it says. This is do as thou wilt, displayed in all its ugliness. Well, this whole blackface, brownface thing with Trudeau is ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. Who cares, right? My thing is, who cares? I don't care. But the point is because he's such a politically correct guy and lectures people and nails them for stuff, he got caught with his blackface on. There is interesting story here. The lowest freight volume since 2009.
growing risk that GDP would grow negative. This is the thing I don't understand. All the numbers, and I'm not saying the numbers are lying, because they're making up stuff about Trump. If they could prove that his numbers are wrong, they'd be jumping all over it, right? But the trucking industry is really down. I mean, I'm in the trucking business, and I'm down a lot. Alarming amount. I worked 4 days last week. This company, it would work you the legal limit week after week after week after week. So, a little bit of a pullback is fine, but now it's getting pretty down. So why is it? How could you have full employment in terms of the roles? There's more people working than ever before, and you have all these numbers, right? We heard them all, lowest from all the ethnicities, the genders, all of this stuff, the highest employment, and yet freight volume, everything that is either made, sold, the material to make it, and if it comes in from another country made, all of it goes on trucks. And if the trucks aren't doing it, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not good. I was looking to see if there's any other comments on it right now. The Pentagon failed its audit. There's a $20 trillion accounting scandal. $21 trillion. $21 trillion. $21 trillion. Our debt is $21 trillion. So, in other words, we'd have no debt. With all this massive spending, if it wasn't for the Pentagon messing up. I don't get it. I mean, I'm probably going to be done here in a minute, and I'm going to get to my point. Yeah, the Flynn memos. So it turns out the FBI had exculpatory, it's a word we all hear now, had evidence showing the innocence of Flynn. It didn't show Flynn's lawyers, which is against the law. And now they're being court ordered to turn it over. They still haven't done it. A free country, did you say? I'm going to put a link for this. I don't like to play other videos in my video for many reasons. But I'll put this guy does a fantastically logical, simple, direct way of talking about gun and other issues with the Democrats. Very accurate, very honestly, very calmly, very directly said, very together. And I'll put the link in that. I'd like you to see that. It's very good. That's just more for Illinois. Very interesting documentary about the Trayvon hoax, about his death. Excuse me. I'll just put the link on it. Yeah, blowing up oil refineries have multiple effects, raising the sagging oil prices and assault the economy both at the same time. It helps banks because the bank stocks are a lot of oil, so the bank stocks are helped. I'm looking at something wrong? Okay. And it also brings the neocons and the demagogues, as I call them, together against to set Trump to be harangued by the MSM no matter what he does. All right, here we go. Syria, country at war since 2011, 20,000 people killed. South Africa, 21,022 murdered in 2018. There's a whole thing going on there, but you know why? Because predominantly it's a black movement, and of course we can't talk about bad about blacks. I mean, there's bad blacks too. I don't know. There's good blacks and there's bad blacks, just like there's good and bad of everything. So I don't know. Not probably a white supremacist for saying that, right? Of course, the whole term white supremacist is it's all red herring anyway. So I guess I got to see if I have something on the other one. I'm sure I got stuff on there, but all it's going to do is probably get me more inflamed. And I don't know what to do with these things. This is just brand new. I stuck it up while I was preparing for the show. Giuliani says China gave $1.5 billion to Joe Biden's son, to John Kerry's son, and Whitey Bulger's nephew or something. I mean, he's come out. This is him saying it. It's not like, so we have to stay tuned to find out about that one. This is funny. I have to flip to another video, another thing here. When Al Gore was born, there were only 7,000 polar bears left. Now only 30,000 remain. All right, slow down here. I think we're going to... Yeah, this is whistleblower did not actually hear the Trump-Ukraine call. I just put that up, too, before the show. This always bothered me. Obama gave away billions in cash. Cash, mind you. I don't know if they even have billions. I mean, they have billions in cash. They did it, but they had to have a special run on this stuff. So he decides to send billions to Iran, and whatever reason, some people have said that's the money owed to them plus interest after in the 70s when they freeze their assets. And let's say it is, okay? But he decides to give it to them back. Billions in cash. They fly it over in pallets of cash. And it's not U.S. dollars. It had to be Swiss francs, and I think it was French or German marks, French francs, but it was Swiss francs mostly. Maybe it was euros. No, it was euros. I think it was actually not even euros. I think it was, because some of the countries have dual currency. They have the euro and their own. But it wasn't U.S. dollars. I don't get that. I mean, can you see Trump made a deal with somebody and sent cash to him? Oh, my God. Again, it's not about being fair. It's about what the point is. Another great line. Someone's going to have to give up a piece of their pie so others can have more. Michelle Obama, 2011. And here is the Michelle and Barack Obama's $29-acre, $14 million mansion that they just bought. Someone's going to have to, well, they're going to fill it up with a lot of homeless people, I heard, so. Here's another quote I put on this. The U.S. CO2 emissions are down to where they were in 1985, a third of a century ago, when the GDP was half of what it is now in inflation-adjusted terms, and the population was smaller by a quarter. No other industrialized country has come anywhere close to reducing their emissions by so much as the United States, who was pulled out of the treaty, and they're still doing better than any other country by far. I'm going to pass on some of this stuff here. Oh, here's... I tell you, I'll give what you should do. I can't go through all of this now. It's going to start winding down. If you are on Facebook, you could just type in Extreme Left Watch. The actual little address, I guess, is @Left Extremists. And what I do is I keep track of all these stories that are mainly cited on left extremists. Rather than putting up on my feed all the time, I can put it there. So if you can go to that and follow it or whatever you do with a Facebook page, and then you can get this information too. So let me get to my closing arguments, so to speak. Is what do we do? They're taking kids and killing them in Yemen and in the delivery rooms. What do we do? What do we do? I'm going to write Dick Durbin and tell him, no, I'd like you to listen to Donald Trump and do this and don't go to war. Oh, Dick's like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll that's a good idea. I'll take consideration. No, they're going to do whatever they want. Once you elect them in office, do whatever they want. And what makes it worse in Illinois is it's all Democratic all the way up from Chicago outward, let's say. And as you get out farther, it gets more
open or balanced. But they can get reelected over and over again. So they do whatever they want. The election is just a detail. It's something, a technicality I got to do. But I do whatever I want. I don't listen to what my people want. I decide what they want. And this is what they do. You have to vote them out. We need the term limits for sure. Then that'll throw them out eventually. But the problem is, even in Illinois, what you'll do is you'll have the new Democratic candidate, and they'll get voted in like every other one, and they'll just do the same stuff. The only true election you have, it's funny, is in the Democratic primary in Illinois, because then people actually fight one another to get elected. But once they're, there's no Republicans. We need Republican people running just to be a difference. It could be, you can call yourself anything, and but it won't work unless you're one of the two parties. People say, well, we need to start a third party. Well, okay. Well, let's do it, but as soon as they get rid of the Electoral College, it's over. We're done. And if they get plenty of the illegal aliens to vote, we're done. It's over. So anyway, what do we do? What do we do to get the point across? Is it like Hong Kong where we go out in the streets, millions at a time? Okay. But how are we going to do that when we're completely, of course, they love to do this, we're divided with left and right. So what are we going to do? If the Democrats tell their people to support this, now it's Trump versus them. What is going on with this phone? Hello? Gosh. I got the do not call here. And what it is the law only allows you not to telemarket, but you can have political polls. You can have science, research, questionnaires. You can have also have 501(c) donation requests. They don't get screened out. So what do we do? Is it Hong Kong? Is this like France with the yellow vest? I think they're still doing it. Of course, not on the media because no, we don't want any ideas here. But here we're so torn apart. You should have people with Trump hats on and people with whoever's hats on. They should be together saying no war in Saudi Arabia and Iran. No. Figure something out. Do your stuff, whatever, but no. And we don't kill children, for crying out loud. I remember a year. I'm 62, so I go back a few years. I remember the arguments in the 70s. They're like, well, it's only a blob of tissue. It's only good for a few weeks. What they're not. But you see, it's not enough. Do as thou wilt. I want to kill this child. Now they'll couch it in rape, incest, and murder. Rape, incest, and all this stuff, and that's terrible. All right, we need to have the laws and the people who do this kind of stuff, just eviscerate them, and they won't do it anymore. Right? Violent crimes, you have to pounce on them violently. I'm not saying beat them up and torture them. I'm saying you have to pick them off the street for a long time. Forever. At some point, whatever. We're not talking about drug crimes here. We're not talking about somebody stealing milk for their baby. We're talking about people going in and raping. And, but they'll couch it in that. But what they want is, first off, it was, I want to be able to get out of abortion at any time, anytime. I want to be able to get out of this. Right? So, but then secondly, it's going to be, it's not good enough because the real underneath it is, no, we want to kill children. We want to kill children. We'll bomb them in Yemen and Afghanistan and wherever. We'll starve them in countries that are having famines. That's fine. We'll let them starve, even though there's food overflowing. I think they did a study like Like the United States can like feed almost the whole world from the amount of grain they do. We'll let them starve. That's okay. And now the ultimate is to have the mother of their child kill them. It is the satanic golden button, the golden chime. It is the brass ring, is to have the mother kill the child. And now doing it when they're a blurb was a start. You know, and it got longer and longer and longer. And now, thanks to Hillary last year on her, I was stunned. She said this, abortion up to the time of delivery. The audience was even, you know, and a lot of them were Democrats. And now it's past birth. Now they say, well, if it's an abortion and it's botched. How do you botch an abortion? There's how many ways can you kill a child in a womb and not have it alive coming out? 1 million. Right? And I just also read, and again, I don't know what to do with this information. All right? I don't know what to do with this stuff. There's a way to kill the child. I just cut the umbilical cord, let him die inside. I mean, come on. I can't even say this stuff. I don't know what to say. But we got to do something about it. Because when I stand before God and he says, like, well, so what's up? This is America, a democratically elected republic that lives under a constitution that protects life, and they started killing them. So, like, what did you do about it? I don't got an answer for that. I mean, I'm doing this, whatever this is worth. I don't shy away from it whenever I'm around anybody. If I saw some guy beating up a kid, I'd jump in, if it hurt me or killed me. I mean, that's all I got. But, this is like controlled, calm, legal, sitting here. Yes, we're just killing children. Yes, yes. And then now they arrested a guy in Will County, which is my county. He worked in Indiana. I shouldn't have arrested a guy. He died of natural causes, and his family goes into his house, goes into his garage, and finds over 2,000 fetus pieces preserved. Huh? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, and I want someone to tell me what to say. What do we do? You can't just go around running willy-nilly. I want to give it up to God. Well, I give it up to God. God, to me, God's the only thing that can do anything about it. You wonder why things went down on whether it be myth, meaning that there's truth in a story, or it actually happened. Sodom and Gomorrah. Why did they get destroyed? And God still let someone try to bring out 10 people. Why? Because they got to the point where they were completely non-human. Strange flesh. Sacrificing the kids. I mean, it's like, what do we have to do here to be the new Sodom and Gomorrah? All right, people are in the chat room in Spreaker, and I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to. So tell me, what do we do? What do we do? I mean, I'm asking, what do we do? This is getting ridiculous. I mean, I'm not going to go into some abortion clinic and take management. You can't do that. You can't. All you're doing is harming thousands of more children by making it become some kind of a nutcase versus sane people, which is them. It's not what I'm saying. We can't do that. We got to do something and make a stand, literally stand. Whether you stand out front of a clinic with something or what do we meet downtown? What do we do? I mean, you could write letters. I mean, I listened to that, and I should put the link in there too, for network. I don't know what to write your congressman. I don't know what to tell you. First you got to get mad. And he has to go out the window and yell. I mean, that thing is like a prophetic piece. I don't know what else to do. Legally. For anybody trying to happen to stumble into this and think I'm calling for problems. I don't know. I'll try. Maybe I'll reach out to some of the life sites that I saw, and maybe I can, they can refer me to somebody come on the show, or I don't know. And I don't want to do this show. I mean, it used to be enjoyable to be able to talk about things like jump rooms to Mars and all these things. Now this stuff seems to me offensive. It's like we're wasting our time with this stuff here. While Rome is burning, we're fiddling about the jump rooms to Mars and Planet X. You know, and I don't have the faith. Have the faith, you know, the plan, all right? I don't have it. I don't see it. I see it barely crawling. I see it like a carrot in front of me, getting farther. He's going, well, you know, here we are. We're almost in the second term, and the carrot's still almost there, almost there. I'm reaching out for it, almost there. Yeah, in the chat room. I don't know exactly what to do, but we should share the word, pray, and keep our firearms. Yeah. They're killing children and fighting for it. What do you think they'll do to you? Oh, what did I do? I just lost all the windows closed. I'm like, oh no, now what? See what's in the chat room over here. Vote. Yeah. Anyway, okay. I'm going to call it a day. I'll put the links up that I shared at the bottom of this. You know, if you want, I would appreciate if you subscribed and hit the bell and all that stuff. I have links, the ways to support the show, get the word out. If nothing else, just share the links of the show. feettothefireradio.com is the website that has all the answers to everybody who needs to know about the show. And so by sharing that, it does the thing. Individual shows that you find good, you know, hit the thumbs up, share them. That always works. Of course, it does work in a way where with the bigger you get, the more you're censored. So I'm kind of still in that. I'm small enough. I'm not, though people have said that there has been shadow banning on Facebook or my stuff. At least they don't get it. They have to go to my page to see stuff. But, I've not been banned on YouTube or nothing. Again, maybe logarithmically. Not logarithmic. Well, yeah. Algorithmically. But, so, I'll leave it at that. I'm not happy about this stuff. You know, I have to defer to Trump because he's the only one in a position to do anything, but he is one man followed with a lot of people that may support him underneath against a juggernaut of psychopathic, Bolshevistic, neo-Maoists. And if God is not in this mix, then I pray. And I don't pray. I'm not praying like some kind of religious whatever. It's just, the place is falling apart. It's already fallen apart in many places around the world. So it's not like, oh, well, now you're interested when it's America. But it's becoming obvious and closer and local and crazier. So actually, I'm going to, Lord, help us. I don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We don't want to do nothing crazy. All throughout the history, Jesus' teachings are all peace and prayer and loving. And like Gandhi's a great example, Lord, where he just sat down and said, no, we're not doing it anymore. No, people got killed. He eventually got killed. So give us guidance, Lord, on what to do on this. I pray, not that the nation deserves it, believe me. The concept does, and a lot of people perhaps do, and those people maybe are holding up the floodgates. But give us wisdom. Give us guidance, support. And I pray, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, we'll see you guys. Sorry that I'm all messed up here, but this is, I don't know what to say. It's getting to a point where I don't know what to say anymore. That's pretty bad for a talk show host, right? All right, we'll see you.